We're joined today by actors Susan Gallagher and Martin Kove. We're talking about the upcoming movie A Taste of Love on the Hallmark Channel, February 19th at 7 Central. Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good morning. We're great.
Good.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, you two are in a new film called A Taste of Love. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new film?
Well, it's a lovely story it's a romance, and it's about my son plays a romantic lead, Jesse Kove, and our Erin, who has done a lot of Erin Cahill has done a lot of Hallmark movies, and it's a very sweet movie about food, and it's really a charming romance. And when I read the script, I was very touched. These were almost first-time writers, and I just loved the character because he was vulnerable, and I liked to be able to work with my son. And ultimately, I didn't even know that Susan was playing my wife. I didn't know. And I know Susan from Cobra Kai. And it was just a charming experience. The people in Dunedin were great. And it's always fun to act a well-written script, especially when you're not playing a tough guy and you're playing someone who's vulnerable and charming and fun and comedic. And it involves a subject matter like food, because he's a restaurateur, and it doesn't involve any current social issues. So it was really a pleasure to work with all the people involved, as well as the population of Dunedin, Florida.
And it was so nice to be working in Florida, and the cinematography is just gorgeous. And I think that everybody's going to really enjoy it. Mike May from Los Angeles, he did a great job, and it's just a beautifully shot film.
Excellent. And it premieres on the Hallmark Channel February 19th at 7 p.m. Central Time. It seems like the Hallmark Channel has become a major avenue for actors now, not just around Christmas time, but really year-round. A lot of actors going back and making movies for the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, I think that, the product on streaming is very good. I mean, I'm in Atlanta shooting Cobra Kai now, and I've got, when I have time off, I watch a lot of the streaming shows, especially now because I have to vote for the Academy Awards and the Emmys and all that. And I find that a lot of the stuff is pretty harsh. It's rough. It's violent, interesting writing, great social issues, but tough. And when you think about Hallmark, you think about things are a little softer. The social issues are a little softer, and they're approached differently. And I think you need both heavily. I think kids today need the Hallmark Channel, to offset a lot of the violence and a lot of the hardcore activity that goes on in the streaming world. There's a lot of production out there, and most of it is hardcore production and tough and big social issues and violence. And I do these movies all the time, and it's nice to see something that's good, but yet not too soft. And that's what Taste of Love is. It's really good, but it's not too soft. It's a wonderful romance, and everybody just loved each other doing this picture, And
it has a happy ending, so that's why a lot of people like Hallmark too, is that, you know that it's not going to be something horrific at the end.
Somebody for me who grew up in the 80s, a lot of kids are really into, a lot of the stuff, like you mentioned, Martin, Rambo and John Kreese and some of these, bad dudes. But a lot of avenues now, as we mentioned, and kids kind of can pick and choose the different things that maybe speak to them more.
Well, I'm developing with my son a comic book, a Western comic book. I'm really into Westerns. And it's called The Prodigal Son. And it's going out as a comic book when we finish the 4th issue. And it's a story of a 12-year-old boy bonding with an old gunfighter who's, irascible. And they share their values together. And they share a lot of moral fiber. And I only created that because I wanted to see the genre return, but in a meaningful way. So that, there's more heroes for kids today. Not the dark characters, but real heroes that we grew up with. John Wayne, Clint Eastwood in some respects. And I think the kids don't have that. The Marvel comic book hero that's on the screen is special effect. There's no vulnerability there in those heroes. And I think heroes have to be vulnerable, but they also have to share the strength of what the kids need to see, important decision making and concern for, fellow men. And it doesn't seem to happen much. Everything is pretty stunt oriented. There's not a lot of soul in the heroes of today.
Writing.
Yeah, and it's all in the writing. It's all in the writing. It's all the intention and the writing.
Well, again, the new film, A Taste of Love, is coming up on the Hallmark Channel February 19th. And Susan, I wanted to ask you, you're known for playing a lot of different diverse characters in your career, and I'm really impressed with Her Little Red Productions and the stuff that you're doing, behind the camera as well.
Thank you. I formed Her Little Red in 2014 because I got tired of waiting for the phone to call. And I was aging out of a lot of different roles and just felt like I needed to be proactive and instead of just sitting around and complaining about it, try to be productive. And I finally got to the age where I was comfortable enough in my own skin where I wasn't afraid. So it's been a learning experience, and but it's been great. And I'm working on a project right now that will be my biggest budget, and I'm really excited about that, and think that everybody's going to really enjoy it. So fingers crossed on that.
Excellent. And of course, you two work together on Cobra Kai, and that's really become a favorite show of just about everybody I know. And there's a new season of that coming up this year. Sadly, the final season, but an amazing run. Can you guys maybe give us any hint as to where things might be going with that show?
Well, I'm shooting it now, and I'm in Atlanta shooting, and we can't give too much information because we're told not to speak about it. But there's an enormous amount of surprises, and a lot of characters are wrapped up, and there's a lot of situations that are, wrapped up and brought to a close. But it's very exciting about how it happens. And everybody goes through their emotional changes, and all the characters grow. And things happen that you wouldn't imagine in the world of the writers are great, and that's what constitutes a good show, is the fact that these writers are very imaginative, and they're very perceptive. They can see things like a year or two in advance of the development of the characters, and I think I contribute the success of the show all to the writers and their perception. So season 6 it'll be just monumental because it's stuff that is not expected or has been seen during the 5 seasons of the show. We're going, in another direction completely, and everybody will love it. Just love it.
Wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to that, of course, and A Taste of Love coming up February 19th on the Hallmark Channel. Again, thank you guys so much for being with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and enjoy the show. And Monday, it's a really good little movie.
And again, that was Susan Gallagher and Martin Kove. They're part of the new film A Taste of Love, coming up on the Hallmark Channel February 19th at 7 p.m. Central Time.